Welcome back, everyone. You're watching Coastal Living, our dove hunting special edition, and it's time for that Texas trivia answer.
That's right. And your question was, what is the fastest that a mourning dove has been clocked while flying? And the answer is B, 55 miles per hour. Their long pointed wings are falcon-like in appearance, while their pointed tails are longer than those for any other dove. Their features enable the birds to fly fast, and some mourning doves have been clocked at 55 miles per hour. That's pretty fast. I don't even think I drive that fast, Clarissa.
Well, I have to say it's pretty intimidating for someone like me who hasn't given it a go. I'm pretty uncoordinated to begin with, so knowing that I would try to be catching a bird at 55 miles an hour is it's a little intimidating, but some people are really good at it. So in that event, then, someone like me might want to just hang up the towel, sit back, relax, and appreciate these beautiful birds, maybe get a couple of great photographs. We all have our phones and that type of technology at our fingertips. So we have a few pointers if you want to take a nice picture from your phone or from a professional camera. Check it out.
All right, we're out here at Cornelius Ranches with professional wildlife photographer Dave Allen to learn how to come up with the proper wildlife photograph. Is there a strategy that we want to try for a beginner?
It's a lot like hunting. You need to learn what you're trying to photograph, and you need to figure out how to get close enough to get the photo you want with the equipment you have.
Yes.
And everybody thinks with a big long lens that it's easy. I still want to be at 20 feet. Whether that's camouflage or photo blind or, bird feeders. Bird feeders are great. They bring birds to you. And the same can be done, if you go ahead and pick up a copy of the WildLife in Focus book, you can look at the photos that are in there and think about the strategy behind how did they get this animal there? And it's a lot of time, there's a lot of boredom getting to these, minutes of excitement. You wait a long time for something to come in and be able to get a photo of it doing something interesting.
We're here with David Sykes with WildLife in Focus, here to tell us more about WildLife in Focus and how it started. So give me a little history.
All right, well, WildLife in Focus started about 20 years ago, and we're a conservation education organization. We also have the WildLife in Focus photo contest, so we can use the images captured on these ranches throughout South Texas to put in the classroom to teach mostly middle school science kids what's in their backyard and why they're so valuable to conserve.
Yeah, and it's nice to have these tangible photos to help keep the kids engaged, especially when we've got such short attention spans that we're working with now.
Oh, you should see them. When they get a hold of the books, it's great. Now, we have a digital curriculum now, but we still give the classrooms the books so they can have something tangible, as you said.
And let's talk about the series. How many do we have?
We just came out with book 10, and I've been a long-time editor of the book. None of the photographs are mine.
Okay.
But I do edit all of the words, and I write quite a few of them. So we try to put fewer words and more pictures in the book. And this year, it's a great coffee table book. It's an educational tool as well. But this year, we've kind of changed the rules so that there's more of an artsy slant to the photography. And we've catered some of the rules to make the photographers think about composition and just kind of the more artistic element in it. And there's a little bit of I think there's 2 or 3 pages dedicated to that. And we've also crafted the rules and updated them to even further that point.
Okay, and all of the animals that we're looking at in these books are local, right?
They're all native animals and birds, mostly birds. We have a lot of categories to shoot in. Most of them are bird categories because we are, of course, the birdiest city.
Right.
And most of the ranches we have are from San Antonio southward, but we're open to ranches anywhere in Texas.
Okay. So would you say the best strategy is you're sitting and waiting in the right spot, or are we approaching the bird or the wildlife?
You're better off being sitting somewhere. I mean, there are opportunities where you can come up, but generally if you're moving, they're going to notice you and want to move away from you.
Okay. What are some of your favorite wildlife creatures to photograph?
I like bobcats and coyotes and all the birds, and Corpus is the birdiest city in the U.S. I mean, there's areas you can go out and within a month period of time see 200 different species. So we have a lot of opportunities here.
Okay. awesome. And as far as equipment goes, I mean, we're all photographers now with iPhones in our hands, but what do you suggest for somebody who's wanting to get into wildlife photography?
You know, don't get real carried away. You know, look at the cameras that are a couple generations old. You know, if they were good enough for professional photographers 5 years ago, they're good enough for you to learn on.
Okay.
You know, I still use an old Canon 7D, which I guess is probably 10 years old now. It can be picked up body for a couple $100.
Okay.
You know, and then try to get a lens, you know, somewhere in the 200 to 400 millimeter range, and spend time learning how to use it.
All right. Now that sounds like rocket science to me, but I'm sure for anyone who's familiar with photography, some of these might sound more familiar. Now, as far I know everybody has their own method when it comes to photography, but how raw do you want that photo to be versus someone who's going to go and edit afterwards? Do you spend time editing your photos?
Sure, everybody, you know, almost all photos you see are edited and cropped, but the closer you get it to right in the camera and the less post-processing you have to do, the better the image will be.
Awesome. Okay. And again, you can always use the Wildlife in Focus book as a good reference point. And tell me about the upcoming book and contest. What are we looking at for 2021?
Well, 21, the contest starts in January. It's a 5-month contest. So you get to see everything from deer with antlers, migratory birds in the area, and also the wildflower season is important so that we have a springtime element to it. So you have to really be dedicated and committed to the contest. 5 months is a long time, and the partnership between the landowner and the photographer is really essential to doing well in the contest.
Okay, and speaking of which, we're looking for landowners and photographers all the time, right?
We are. We had about 30 or 35 ranch owners and photographers last year, but this year we'd really like to get 60 if we can. I mean, if you're a photographer who doesn't have a ranch partner, we will find you a ranch partner. Or if you're a ranch and you don't have a photographer, we will find you a photographer.
Wonderful. And what are the steps for someone to get involved that's interested in watching right now?
Well, if you go on wildlifeinfocus.org, you can find out everything you need to know about the contest, all the deadlines and the fees and stuff like that. And the entry fee is shared by the photographer and the landowner. So they really are a team.
I love it. And what's the objective or incentive, should I say, for the landowner and photographer?
Well, you know, if you win enough categories, you can win 50 grand.
Okay.
You know, it's probably the richest photo contest. It's the only one of its kind left in Texas. There's been a few that have come and gone, but we're the survivor.
Perfect. All right, so one more time, tell our friends at home where they can go for more information.
WildlifeinFocus.org will give you anything you need to know. If you want to call, the number's on there. You can speak to our Executive Director, Marissa Ford.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Well, I have to say today was unique, it was fun, and it was such an exciting show. We learned how to go dove hunting, how to cook your dove after a great catch. We learned how to make a delicious and healthy margarita at home, and we learned how to photograph some beautiful wildlife here in the Coastal Bend. All in all, I think it was a great show. And we love when you make it a point to join us every single day. You can watch us live at 9 a.m., you can DVR the show, and you can even stream live from your phone or computer at kztv10.com/live. We'll see you every weekday morning at 9 a.m. right here on Coastal Living.
Thank you for watching Coastal Living on KZTV. To see more, visit coastallivingtv.com.